everybody on this fine, just gorgeous day. It's probably about 75 degrees. It's Monday, May 21st, and I'm going to check on my split. So I have to give you guys a little bit of an update about the split. So I did a tearing off split originally from my big hive because I found a couple queen cells and I knew that they were going to swarm. I saw eggs, and so I thought my queen was still there. So I did a tearing off split, which basically means I shook out all the bees in the hive to get the swarmy bees separated from the forager bees that wanted to stay in the old hive. So I did get a cluster, and I shook that into a split, or essentially a smaller hive, with the hopes that my queen was in there because I couldn't find her. So I went back to check on that split, and I couldn't find my queen. So she must have swarmed, because she's not there, and she definitely wasn't in the main hive because they are producing queen cells, which means they're producing a replacement queen, which is great because that can be a very viable and healthy queen. So that left my split, which means a small little hive, queenless. So I actually got a call from Li Ying, very coincidentally, on the day that I discovered my queenlessness, and she said that there were some grant bees. I am part of the REBA Association, the Rhode Island Beekeepers Association, and there's a grant that they've got going where they've got these bees that they've selected, queen bees, that they've selected for good hygienics, yada yada yada. Anyways, these queen bees came in and they were a bit stressed. They came in late. They were mailed from Michigan, I believe, or Minnesota. So the grant queens were given out to beekeepers in the hopes of bolstering the good genetics here for the local bees. So Li Ying got in touch with me, letting me know that she had some extra queens that were no longer going to be part of the grant program because they were stressed en route. So I said, perfect, I'll take one. I went and picked one up, and by the time I brought it home, it was about 7:30, so the sun was setting and I couldn't set up my camera. There wasn't enough light, so I slipped the queen into the split. In a queen cage where the queen is housed, there's a little bit of fondant or candy plug basically that plugs up a hole, and what the bees do is they eat through that and they release the queen. So before we release her, we want the bees in the split to get to know her. So we put a little bit of tape over that candy plug, put the queen cage in the split, and allow the bees to get to know each other. If we release her too quickly, they could kill her. And now today, which has been another 2 days, I'm going to go in, actually it's been 3 days because we had some rain. I'm going to go in there and see if she's been released. Hopefully I'll see her and see if she's laying. I hope she's laying because that means the hive is set. They've accepted her, she's laying, and the hive is going. So if I don't find a queen, I'll have to make a decision. What to do with this split. Either requeen it, give them a frame of brood and eggs, and maybe they'll make their own queen or something. But fingers crossed, I really hope the queen is there, and I hope she's laying. The behavior of the bees has been good, although traffic has been very, very slow here. There aren't that many bees in there, so traffic has been very light, and the behavior they've been showing has been pretty good, although I should say better. So if you look at my other hive, look at this traffic. This is my main hive, and it is currently queenless. They are making a queen bee, but look at that traffic. This is a mature hive though. This is overwintered, and there are a lot of bees. Look at that traffic. Meanwhile, here, there is some traffic. Very little, but there is some, which is heartening. And they seem to have a little bit more vigor, which has me thinking that there is a queen in there. If you have bees that are kind of dilly-dallying around and not taking off and not bringing in anything, then that's a sign that they're queenless or haven't accepted a queen. Let's find out. So right now what I'm observing is there is a bee fanning, which is a good sign, and I also saw a bee come in with pollen on her legs, which is a good sign because pollen is needed for brood rearing. I do also see some drones, which are the great big male bees, which are kind of useless, kind of mooches. Anyways, let's get in there. I gotta get my smoker. All right, let's get in there. Puffs. All right, no queen there. see functioning wax building, which is not a good sign. I do see a lot of drones, which is not great either. Alright, Queen has been released. I don't see her. Oh, I see her. I see her. The queen is a blue queen. She is marked blue, and I see her on the frame, next frame. Great. There she is. She's beautiful. Can you see her? She's right there. Right at the end, right there. I want you guys to see her. Where is she? She's right there. Do you see that beautiful cobalt blue? That's my queen. Yes. Now we want to look for eggs. There she is. Beautiful blue mama. She's looking fat too. Alright, now I'm going to look for eggs. Look like they've accepted her. She has a nice group around her. Now I'm going to look for eggs. Yes. And I see eggs. Wonderful. Yes. And inside those cells are eggs. She's looking beautiful. Did you notice how the queen has golden legs? She's beautiful. Oh, she's laying. Can you see her laying? Oh my gosh. She's laying. She's finding an empty cell and she's laying. Beautiful. This is great. This is all that I could have hoped for. Okay, now she's going to look for another empty cell. Wonderful. Laying. Okay, perfect. So we're going to put her back. Sugar syrup encourages them to build more pollen. So I'm going to give them more syrup. There's still more syrup in here, which is good. These off. Lid. Put the brick back. Okay. Leave them alone. Yeah, so I found my queen. She's in there. She's accepted. She's laying. So yeah, that's the best outcome for this situation so far. I'm going to keep an eye on them, keep getting them syrup, because syrup is important for wax production. They're going to need to produce more wax for the queen to lay in, and yeah, great news. Okay, see you next time. Bye!